Thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. Well, effective Monday, 9th March, most public service offices will be closed as the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOGSAC, has declared a nationwide strike over conditions of service. The announcement was made in a statement issued shortly after CLOGSAC's national executive meeting right here in Accra this afternoon. Well, coming up on your screens now, excerpts from that statement, the statement that they put out earlier, and it's just tabling their next line of action. It states there, the head of the Civil Service Office in Accra, that's the number of individuals they copied. Now, this is declaration of nationwide strike. Stay at home until further notice. And notice to all members of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOGSAC. As you are aware, the National Executive Council of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana on Thursday, 19 February 2026, gave notice of the intention of its members to proceed on an industrial action. The issues remain unresolved, they say, and as a result, all staff of the civil service and local government service are enjoined to stay at home with effect from Monday, 9 March 2026 until further notice. And that statement is signed by Isaac Bampo Addo, the Executive Secretary of CLOGSAC. Well, let's broaden the conversation right here on The Pulse. Joining me now is Austin Game. He's a labor expert. We appreciate your time on The Pulse. We're hearing from CLOGSAC their intention to withdraw their services effective 9th of March. I'd like to start with your initial reaction to that. Mr. Game, you will have to unmute for me to hear you clearly.
Thank you. Thank you. Personally, I do not have a reaction because certainly I'm not part of the conflict. However, I am a bit surprised at this point in time of Ghana's development that we still do things outside our own agreed laws and rules that govern the procedure of resolving our differences. CLOGSAC is highly respected among the unions in Ghana, and I hold them in high esteem as well. But I do not know why, in the face of the law, under Section 161 of the Labour Act, which enjoins us to ensure that should there be any concern that you may have concerning your condition of service, either by way of negotiating or implementation being truncated by your employer, you have a place to go. You have to go to and it's compulsory, you must go to the National Labour Commission and have your matter resolved, or look for avenue that would enable the two sides to engage. Now, the law I just quoted, Section 161, says, among other things, that maybe let me read it so that you and I will not be accused of saying something that we do not know about. The law says, cooling off period, a party to an industrial dispute shall not resort to a strike or lockout during the period when negotiation, mediation, or arbitration proceedings are in progress. Now, according to what you said a while ago, they said their negotiation has broken down. If it's broken down, there are other steps to be followed under the law.
Well, the concern they raised in their statement is that the issues they have raised has not been resolved. The reason why they're going ahead to declare this industrial action.
Yes, I agree. And I'm saying that if the issues remain unresolved, there are steps to be followed to have it resolved, because you cannot, under our Industrial Relations Act, our Labor Relations Act now that we have, You cannot resort to strike without having the matter must be resolved. And there are processes outlined clearly under our law and practices to enable you have the matter resolved. Did they go to the National Labour Commission? Did they sit on the issue? Did they engage the services of maybe a mediator, an arbitrator, or did they go to the law court? They have all the avenues open to them. And I'm not against them wanting to, if you go and you have no solution whatsoever, then you can give notice, 7 days notice to the National Labour Commission that if at the end of the expiration of the 7th day, no solution is found, then you can declare a strike. That is called a legal strike. And that's the only time you can go on strike. Not when a matter is seized with them. So I think that they can find a better way of resolving the matter without resorting to strike.
So from where you sit, CLOGSAC is committing an illegality if they proceed on that industrial action on Monday.
Well, because I'm a practitioner, it would be wrong for me to join the bandwagon to say that they are committing illegality. They are not operating within the confines of the law. So they should go and ensure that they operate within the confines of the law. The only body that can declare something illegal will be the law court. We have a labor court in Ghana here. If the Labour Commission look into the matter and exhort them to follow the procedure and they refused, the Labour Commission can even go to court and draw both parties to enable the court to decide what to do. But for now, I think that what they are doing is outside the confines of the law, and therefore you, like you rightly said, somebody can say they are being illegal.
So their decision is not justified as we speak. But we're also wondering who would crack the whip, especially because we know that the Labour front is quite disjointed when it comes to issues like this. They've raised concerns according to them. Their concerns has not been addressed. So even if they go ahead to, declare this nationwide strike, which by what you're telling us right now, it may be outside the confines of the law, who then cracks the whip?
Well, there are two ways of doing this. One, the National Labour Commission is expected to be proactive. Proactive in the sense that under Section 138, they have the right to summon CLOGSAC to their office, even as we speak now, to enable them, ask them to stop what they want to do, and then consequently they will summon the ministries and the heads of the departments, and even the head of civil service itself is supposed to be on their way to the Labour Commission as we speak now, by way of reporting. If they engage them and they will not listen to them, then the head of the civil service, the head of the local government to where they belong to, supposed to be on their way to the Labour Commission now to report this matter to them, and the executive secretary of the Labour Commission will summon them immediately, possibly inviting also the Minister for Labour, Jobs and Employment to enable them discuss the details of the concerns that CLOGSAC may have, and if they do not have any core solution for it, they can appoint somebody immediately to be a mediator in the matter. They can appoint somebody to be an arbitrator should they agree to go for arbitration, or should they go for mediation. There are several options open to us in Ghana here. A thing like this, I can guarantee you what it is that you are telling outside investors that we do not have the means of resolving our differences in labor, so don't come here and invest here. We are just people who can take the law into our own hands in any form or shape we want. It's not fair.
But we've been trying to reach out to CLOGSAC. We've been unsuccessful so far, but we're still trying to reach out to them so that we get an understanding of the processes they have gone through so far. We're also trying to reach out to the Labor Ministry as well, just to get feedback on this. That has been unsuccessful largely, but we're still trying. But Austin, one of the concerns that I'm sure Clocksack will raise when they join the conversation is the fact that government has failed to live up to expectations when it comes to their conditions of service.
You see, if you are negotiating, again, under the labor law, when you are negotiating, you are not supposed to even intimidate one another. You are not supposed to even threaten one another. You are not even supposed to put on red band, because that will be tantamount to holding your other up, call them colleagues' hand behind you and insisting that you come and negotiate. We don't do that. It's a civilized process. It's a process where the two parties, that's why the law says that you must share relevant information. If you are seized with the information, what it means is that both of you are on the same page. You can sit down and negotiate as civilized people. And civilized people don't go on strike. The employer cannot lock the door on them. The employer cannot refuse to negotiate with them. The employer will be wrong by way of saying that they will not negotiate with them. And if they've completed the negotiation already and they are not implementing, they still must go to the National Labour Commission, report the conduct of the employer. And the employer is not above the law. Even the office of the president can be summoned. The office of the vice president herself can be summoned. The only person that cannot be summoned to any such place is the president. But the office of the president can be summoned. Therefore, the chief of staff can be summoned. The ministers can be summoned. So who is it that they are negotiating with that is not responding? And where did they go to have the matter resolved? Because I know the capability of the Labour Commission people there now. And I think it's very, very important that we take this thing seriously. I'm happy you are talking to me.
And then the big concern now from Clocksack front is probably the concern that it appears the National Labour Commission is in bed with government.
It is not possible because the parties that constitute the commission are not an appendage of government. They were selected by, including the Clocksack members themselves, selected 2 people to be there. Even the chairman of the commission is their baby. So the chairman of the commission cannot respond to government by way of saying that government as an employer should either implement or not implement. They cannot do that because 2 of the members there are from employers, 2 of the members there are from the unions, selected inclusive of Clocksack. So how can their own member who they select to go and protect their interests be against them? That's how we constructed the law. So the law gives room for unbiased, impartial, and on top of it, we have people who are mediators, well-balanced people who are completely impartial, who can be engaged. And even now, I understood we have now gotten a new officer appointed as the National ADR Center, so they can go anywhere to seek help, and they can be helped. So there is no way we should be doing what we want to do. I will urge them to suspend their action and go to the National Labour Commission or look for the new executive secretary of the ADR Center and look for somebody to assist them to resolve their conflicts.
But the concern now is that it appears in our part of the world, you say civilized countries, they do not embark on strike. But in our part of the world, it appears that's the only language government understands. You disagree?
I disagree 100%. Even the workers, they do not understand the language of only, it's just lack of knowledge, lack of skill, lack of understanding and appreciation of how to navigate your way through the labor law. And our labor law is not a theory. It's a practical thing that to be exercised by unions, employers, and our urge, in this case, government as an employer. It ceases to be government because government is politically understood to be government. but government is also an employer. And this employer must subordinate himself to nothing but the National Labour Commission. Is the body so clothed with power, indeed, let me say tremendous power, to summon anybody to their office to have their matters resolved. And there is no way the employer can say, I will not attend unto the call of the National Labour Commission. There's no way.
And then finally, before I let you go, we know that just this week, CLOGSAC set up a review committee, and they've been talking about their concerns about the recommendations made by the Constitution Review Committee with regards to setting up an independent Controller Accountant General's Department. In the wake of concerns that their conditions of service is poor and not being reviewed by government, do you think their calls are justified?
Well, I read that piece of news. I was a little taken aback. Indeed, they have the right to air their views, but that should be limited to what we call views. Because even the commission itself or the Constitutional Review Committee itself did nothing but to make recommendations. Recommendations are not positions hoisted and imposed upon the nation. They submitted it, and we all know that it has to go to a process by way of ensuring that it finally lands on the table of Parliament and eventually to the citizenry, including members of CLOGSAC. They will have opportunity to either vote to not to accept that or to accept it. Whichever way it is, now it's a lobbying game for all of us. I would like to support part of the idea of CLOGSAC that maybe the Controller and Accountant General's Department should continue to be part or to be controlled by the Ministry of Finance, but they should be worried about the type of action they are taking, like this one. Therefore, if they have the body not as a government body, the fear is that maybe they will not have control over them, or they will not be members of their union again. If that is the fear, they should stop exercising that fear, because we have people in this country, like my company, like your station, people are free to join union. Your station, the people there are free to join union. And private companies, several private companies, some of which I am a consultant to, their workers are union members, and we negotiate on daily basis on their conditions of service. Local and civil service people, CLOGSAC, can always have opportunities to negotiate their concerns, including what they are calling concerns that they have. So they shouldn't worry. They should rather take their matter to where appropriate. Otherwise, these are the type of comments they will hear.
Thank you so much, Austin Game, for your time here on The Pulse. We made attempts to reach out to CLOGSAC. Unfortunately, we've been unsuccessful, as well as the Labour and Employment Ministry. The Fair Wages and Salaries Commission as well, we've been unsuccessful. Once we have them, we'll get their reaction to this. But away from that, the National Disaster Management Organization has stepped up efforts to curb the impact of flooding in the Greater Accra region, beginning a series of inspections in flood-prone areas, I beg your pardon. The exercise forms part of the organization's preparations ahead of the rainy season and is aimed at ensuring drains are properly desilted and maintained to contain flood waters and address the region's recurring flooding challenge. The team is being led by NADMO's Director General, Joseph Bikanyi Kuyon, alongside other senior officials of the organization, with support from military officers assisting the exercise.
NADMO is taking very drastic measures to address the flooding situation in parts of Accra. this tour, led by the Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization, has visited so many areas, and they are monitoring these areas and ensuring that they take tougher measures in order to address the perennial flooding in parts of Accra. We are currently at the Kweshi Lagoon, where some demolition exercise took place about a month ago. The DG is here to monitor this particular situation and ensure that people do not return here in order to address the general flooding situation in parts of Accra. So let's engage him to know what is the mission behind this particular step, among other things. DG, thank you very much. Talk to us about this step taken by NADMO in terms of, addressing flooding, among other things.
Thank you very much. I always say that managing disaster is a process, not an event. We embarked on flood preparedness and prevention since last year, and we're witnesses to His Excellency himself touring some parts of Accra to acquaint with the flashpoints and preparations that were being done. And after that, we have worked along the line with the various MCEs and then the local authorities to ensure that we are ready and prepared should flood occur. And not only that, to also ensure that as much as possible, we prevent it from occurring. And so we did some demolitions, we cleared drains at Okaikwe, where we stopped first. You saw the work that has been done on the drain after the President's visit. And in Gai East, you saw the work that has been done after the flooding. I think that was the last flooding serious incident last year. It took about 5 lives. The way I saw the drain at that time and today, it gives me hope that we are doing some work to revert the adverse past, that we don't see those things happen again. And as you can see, it's not like past demolition exercises that you witness. We used to demolish and abandon the place and the people come back. But you can see after demolition, work is continuing. We have started clearing the debris of where we demolished. And as you can see, the heaps of sand, dozers have come here to heap the sands. What is temporarily holding us is what we spoke about at Gai East, about the drip equipment. The drip equipments are there, but they are not enough. So we need to marshal logistics. This work, if we leave it to drip equipments and what I have at NADMO, it will take us months to clear the debris. But if we can get support and raise logistics from other agencies, it can be done in a week or 2.
So what kind of support would you need?
Yeah, we need more excavators, we need more payloaders, we need more dozers, we need more tipper trucks so that this work can be done rapidly and then dredging can begin at the other end of the lagoon.
So apart from the equipment, I'm sure that you would also need some financial support. How much do you think would help NADMO in clearing some of these drains and also help you to do your work ahead of the rainy season?
A beggar has no choice. Whatever anybody can support us with, we'll be grateful to the person. And so we are saying it's a shared responsibility. Disaster management is not one person's business. It's not government business alone. Civil society, the business community, they all have a stake in ensuring that our society becomes resilient and safe.
So you can put a figure to it?
If I put a figure to it, I'll be limiting myself, because we are not limiting ourselves, because work is extensive nationwide. It's not only in Accra. So as much as we can raise, even if after basic prevention measures have been done, we need to create resilience, that is fortifying these river bodies and drains to ensure that they last for as long as possible to keep our nation resilient and safe.
Part of Accra expects more demolition ahead of the rainy season because I think there are concerns of people blocking waterways, among others. Should we expect more demolition in Accra?
That is sure. There will be more demolition because you can see today, we demolished this place, cleared structures. Today you are here, you saw people putting up other things. And so we would ensure that people are forced to obey the law. we will ensure.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. Now, let's also speak with the DC or the MC for this area in relation to this demolition or this exercise to address the flooding situation in parts of Accra. MC, talk to us. Would you support this initiative, and what would you do? What role will you play to ensure that NADMO addresses this challenge?
All right, thank you very much. For disaster, we know it doesn't have any party colors, it doesn't leave any tribe out, any group of persons out. So to have NADMO come to our assistance by helping to remove illegal structures and helping stop the silting of waterways, that somebody can do nothing but to support them. So we are in support of helping to stop the filling of the drain, the lagoon itself, and then the illegal structures on the stretch, because it's a buffer and it shouldn't have any physical structures on it. So we support NADMO in this cause. It's a national cause, so as part of the government, we cannot be against our own government. We have to support the government so we achieve part of what we call the reset agenda.
I think the concerns for many is that mostly the assemblies, you said aloof, you want this structure, people begin to put up these structures, then you now want to go and, stop them. Why is that you wouldn't take preventive measures, even before these people engage in building illegal structures?
So in the past, that was one of the mistakes possibly the assemblies have done by allowing people. I doubt they were giving permissions to be here. People were here without permits. But we don't want to repeat such old mistakes, past mistakes. That is why we want to clear the place and have the place set for the ecological purpose it is meant to be. So the assembly will not wait and watch people put up any illegal structures here anymore. We will rather ensure that the lagoon is dredged and then put it to better use, that to benefit the entire locality.
Thank you very much. So that is the DC MC for this particular area, and many of the MCs across parts of Accra have expressed their commitment to support NADMO in achieving this particular situation and ensure that the perennial flooding in Accra is addressed. Reporting for JoyNews, I'm Fatal Bayaga, Accra.
Well, let me bring in now Dr. Joseph Kuyung. He is the Director General for NADMO. We appreciate your time here on The Pulse. So far, which areas have you visited, and what is the assessment that you've gathered?
Yes,